Hello, guys! Turbocharged 51 over here! I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking World Endurance Championship, specifically my race review for the 1,812 kilometers of Qatar. And guys, I don't know what else to say except Ferrari dominance. Ferrari dominance. And now you're probably asking, but Turbo, you're wearing a BMW hat. And to that I say, I'm screwed for this season. Now, for those of you guys that think I just watch F1, you are highly mistaken. I actually follow, off the top of my head, I don't have time to count right now, but I follow about 8 to 10 different motorsport series. Second is, after F1, is the World Endurance Championship. And for those of you guys that are actually familiar with the championship, you know that BMW race there as well. And they look fast. So, I've come up with a bright idea for this season, okay? First of all, excuse my abruptly large forehead. If I ever wanted to, I can smoke a cigarette in the rain without standing underneath a roof, but it is fine. All right, so I've come up with a great plan for this season, because how do I choose again between my favorite race car manufacturer and my favorite car manufacturer? How do I do? So I've come up with a plan. Watch this, watch this. All right, excuse the obnoxiously big forehead. Okay, we've got the Ferrari hat. We're going to do it this way. Yes, you guys see? You guys see? We got both hats both ways. So depending on who wins, that's the hat that's going to face the front. Depending who doesn't win, that hat's going to face backwards. Okay, point being, I look stupid like I usually do, but it is what it is. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, guys, it's not going to be like a 40-minute race review. It's going to be a quick one. So drop your ideas and your opinions in the comments down below. Let's chat about this, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more future content. All right, now also go check out the links in the description down below, especially me and my other colleagues for our podcast channel about F1. There's going to be some pretty juicy stuff coming for this 2025 Formula 1 season. Now let's get into the big thing: Ferrari dominance. Guys, everybody knows Ferrari has had a history in F1 where they were dominant. Yes, it was a long time ago. We're nearing 30 years of Ferrari dominance, because the last time Ferrari were dominant was from 2000 to 2004. We are in 2025. It's scary. We've exceeded 20 years. We're going on 30. But if there's one championship where Ferrari hasn't dominated since the 60s, it's been endurance racing, specifically. Back in those times, there wasn't really a dedicated racing series for it. It was just basically for the 24 hours of Le Mans. But I mean, there's a movie made about it, Ford versus Ferrari, where Ford wanted to dethrone Ferrari from the dominant force at the 24 hours of Le Mans, and Ford managed to do it. By the way, if you guys go check out, I'll link that video in the description down below where I talked about this a few weeks ago. Ford is coming back to the World Endurance Championship pretty soon. We're going to have Ford versus Ferrari again, but it's going to be modern, and I can't wait. And it's going to be in the top hypercar class. But I mean, guys, Ferrari, I don't know. I didn't expect it. Look, the Ferraris looked good throughout preseason testing, which was also done at Qatar. But besides that, it's not like Ferrari were leaps and bounds ahead of anybody else. And everybody who understands how the World Endurance Championship runs, there's balance of performance applied to the classes, which is short for BOP. So when I reference BOP, it means balance of performance. So the big guys to look out for post preseason testing for me, honestly, was BMW, Porsche, and Cadillac. Toyota didn't seem like they were very comfortable. The dominant force in the what's the word I'm looking for, in the recent past of the World Endurance Championship, it's been Toyota's games about the past 10 years, let's be honest. But they seemed like they were on the back foot. Porsche looked good. Porsche won the Drivers' Championship last year. And BMW looked very good. Alpine looked good. And the two Hertz Team Jota cars, which are Cadillacs, they looked pretty pacey. So, for those of you guys that don't know, the 1,812 kilometers of Qatar is between a 9 and 10 hour race. So the race starts, we've got a Ferrari on pole position with a BMW in second, and the race starts off relatively normal. You know, you've got your typical endurance racing championship drama. The GT cars get caught up, start getting lapped, things get a bit juicy. And a few hours into the race, you're like, wait a minute. The 50 Ferrari, okay, well, at that stage, the 51 Ferrari was leading, followed by the 83, and then the 50. And by the time the race ended, the 50 Ferrari had won. The 83 was second, the yellow one, and the other AF Corsa red Ferrari, the 51, was third. Now, what I want to mention here is Ferrari had a lot of bad luck in this race when it comes to penalties. They had multiple penalties throughout this race, and I'm specifically talking about the two red Scuderia Ferrari AF Corsa cars. The 83 actually had a very clean race, and that car started, I think, at the bottom part of the top 10. I was unable to watch qualifying, so I can't completely remember the starting grid. But the 83 AF Corsa Ferrari was not, close to the front. It raced itself to that position, and it's one of the few cars that kept its nose clean for the entire duration of the race. An awesome race from that squad, from Robert Kubica, Yaya Fay, and I can't remember the third driver now, but not important at this stage. But we're gonna refer to them as the red team, all right, the red Ferrari team, because the 83 is a yellow car, the other two are the red cars, all right. The two red Ferraris really had a lot of bad luck when it came to penalties, silly breaches of rules. I think it was the 50 Ferrari that got spun at a stage by one of the BMWs, by the Shell Helix sponsored for BMW, driven by a fellow South African, Sheldon van der Linde. Not in the moment of the accident, just he's in the team. And I was just like, come the end of that race, Ferrari was so far ahead, and I'm just like, first of all, how did they still manage to lock out the podium? And how are the other teams not there? It was a BMW in fourth. The two Toyotas were fifth and sixth. Fifth and sixth. And the second BMW was seventh. But there were stages of that race where Cadillac, the two Hertz Team Jota cars, and the two Alpines were phenomenally fast. And I was like, yeah, this could be a first WEC win for either Cadillac or Alpine as well. And this was about 3 hours into the race, so we still had far over halfway to go. And I'm watching this race, and I'm just like, with about 90 minutes to go, I still had no idea who was going to win. It was a sense of there was so much going on, so much happening, that at any stage something, already knowing that the two red Ferraris had so much bad luck, that anything can happen, and a complete outsider towards how the race looked at that very moment could win. And yet, Ferrari didn't just pull it out of the bag. They stayed consistent, and nobody could touch them. And I'm not gonna lie, as a Ferrari, as a member of a proud Tifosi, I'm very happy. And having a BMW be the base of the dominant party, which was Ferrari fourth, and then basically sandwiching the two Toyotas with the two BMWs, I was beyond happy. I really hoped that I can't remember the number of the blue Ferrari, of the blue BMW. So there's a white, black, and blue one, and there's a red, yellow, and white one. The red, yellow, and white one, which is mostly Shell sponsored, that is the Sheldon van der Linde car. And in the other one, I was just like, I really hope that BMW could at least, get one of the Ferraris off the podium. Unfortunately, Ferrari just said, you want to do what? No. Just no. And the race was abnormally action-packed. And I'm honestly fearful if this is how Ferrari are coming out of the blocks, brah, it's gonna be a type of season. Now, I don't hope for that because I really feel the World Endurance Championship, the reason it's such an epic spectacle to watch is because the racing is so close. So, will I be sad if Ferrari dominate? No. Will it cast a bit of a shadow on the sport? Potentially. The chances of it happening? It's about a 50-50, if you ask me. But the thing that gives it me the 50-50, the reason I don't think it's going to happen, you can never count out Toyota. You can never count out Porsche. And now you've got 3 other manufacturers that all came in between last year and the year before. So in the past 2 years, these 3 manufacturers joined. And they are very close to the front when it comes to pace-wise. And I'm specifically speaking about BMW, Cadillac, and Alpine. Remember in that previous video, if you did watch that, I specifically stated that Alpine and BMW are going to be 2 teams that need to be watched this year. And besides Alpine also having rotten luck during that race, there were a fair few hours where Alpine and BMW were the only cars that could take it to the Ferraris. And it wasn't like Ferrari was just running away. Hovered between 5 and 10 seconds constantly. As the pit stops happened, BMWs and Alpines there. BMWs and Alpines there. And the racing was exceptional. It honestly was exceptional. And honestly, if you guys had needed me to predict something, I really feel, again, and this is not my inner Ferrari fanboy speaking, my inner Tifosi, but the way Ferrari has kicked off this championship campaign in the WEC, it honestly feels like they are the team to beat right now. They are the ones that look the best right now for the championship. And then you've got Toyota sniffing at the heels. You've got BMW sniffing at the heels. And Alpine had a bad luck race. And then you look at Porsche. Pre-season testing, they looked decent. They looked okay. But Porsche is known for sandbagging. Come the race, besides also one of the 2 Penske Porsche cars getting a reasonably big penalties, it's just as if they didn't have pace. It's as if every time they tried to, push a bit, they would struggle. And do I think that's going to be the story for Porsche the whole season? Hell no. You're talking about Porsche Penske Motorsport here. There's no way that is going to be the story the whole season. But that is not the way you want to start your championship campaign with only 8 races in total throughout the season. And right now, if you ask me, the pecking order is Ferrari, BMW, Toyota, Alpine, Cadillac. The caddies unfortunately had an incident where they ran into each other after a safety car where there was a miscommunication between the 2 drivers, and the one Hertz Team Toyota caddy ran into the back of the other Hertz Team Toyota caddy. They both had to pit. One caddy had to have obviously a very long pit stop for repairs, and the other one lost so much time, it unfortunately put them out of the race. But yet, while they were in it, they were challenging Ferrari, Alpine, and BMW at the front. There was, for the first, I want to say, an hour to 90 minutes of that race, it was Ferrari defending from BMW, Cadillac, and Alpine. And the Cadillac at a stage got ahead of both the Beamers and both the Alpines. And they looked fast. The Hertz Team Toyota cars, those 2 Cadillac V-Series looked stupidly fast. And I think Caddy is going to play a dark horse role this year, with 100% honesty. I think it's going to be a very, very tough fight for second in this Constructors. Because at this stage, if you exclude Ferrari, you've got BMW, Cadillac, Toyota, and Alpine. I didn't see anything special right now from any other team that would make me believe that they are at that running pace. Peugeot didn't look good at all. Porsche, like I've already stated, it didn't look like they had race pace. Aston Martin, obviously, first season, and oh my word, that Valkyrie, that noise. Nobody can deny that is the best sounding car in the WEC and IMSA right now. But to round this off, I know I haven't had like specific points here, guys, and I've just talked a bit scrambled, but that's the main thing that I want to get to. Ferrari looked like the car to beat. Cadillac, Alpine, BMW, and Toyota on race pace look like identical cars. It's going to come down to the drivers. And then there's the potential of Porsche still getting involved in that fight. But honestly, I don't think someone's beating Ferrari this year. And again, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm not one of those people that watch motorsport. I've got my team, I've got my drivers, and if anybody else wins, I'm pissed off. That's not how I am. I want to see good racing. I want to see fair racing. But considering what Ferrari has done the past two years, they came in 2023. We went to the 12 hours of Sebring. Ferrari took pole in their first race. 2023, 24 hours of Le Mans. Who won? Ferrari. 2024, 24 hours of Le Mans. Who won? Ferrari. We start 2025 and Ferrari pull off an absolute dominant masterclass and lock out the podium. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. And this weekend, besides it being the Melbourne Grand Prix for Formula One, it's also the 12 hours of Sebring. Now, Sebring, Ferrari don't race in Sebring. The teams that race in hypercar, but they call it GTPs in the IMSA category, in the American version of the WEC, you've got Cadillac, Porsche, Aston Martin, Lamborghini, Acura, and BMW. That's the 6 you have. And I think this weekend, with the 12 hours of Sebring, it's going to be an extremely, extremely interesting watch to see what happens between Cadillac, BMW, and Porsche. And when it comes to IMSA, the Acuras, aka Hondas, they're not slow at all. They're also on pace. So you've got 4 different manufacturers of the 6 that race at IMSA that could win this weekend. And to be honest, the Lamborghini, besides reliability, if you even go back to the 24 hours of Daytona, still a fast car. That Lamborghini is a dark horse. The Astons, obviously, and Aston have stated this themselves, this year is going to be a year of testing, gaining experience, gaining knowledge, and then they want to come out the blocks for 2026 firing. I still don't think that Aston is going to be at the same pace come the end of both WEC and IMSA. I don't think it's going to have the same pace at the end of both seasons than now. That car's going to be closer. And I don't know how I'm going to juggle the 12 hours of Sebrings and the Melbourne Grand Prix, but we're going to figure something out. We have to, because everything is unmissable events. And guys, honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait. I think it's going to be epic. I think it's going to be awesome. And I wish there was more than 8 rounds for the WEC, because the fact that there's only 8 rounds is frustrating me. But endurance racing takes not a much bigger, but it takes a bigger toll on teams, cars, planning, and all these things than F1. Unfortunately, it's an intense thing. But I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below, which team do you think is going to win this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans? And honestly, I'm taking a shot in the dark here, but I am honestly thinking it's not going to be Ferrari again. I think BMW is going to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year. I think come that stage of the season, they are going to have the info that they need to know how to win. And I think come the end of this season, there's a few tracks where the BMWs specifically looked strong. The car just didn't have the outright pace. Now that the car's pace is there, I think we're going to see more than one BMW victory this year, because the only BMW victory we saw last year was with the IMSA series, where they won at Indianapolis. They took 1-2. I think this year, IMSA and WEC included, we're going to see more than one BMW victory. And I'm here for it. I'm excited and I can't wait. Guys, but for what it's worth, don't forget to drop a like down below. Please hit me up in the comments down below. Let's chat a bit about this. Give me your opinion on how WEC is looking for you right now. And yeah, if you have not yet subscribed and you've made it to this part of the video and you've enjoyed looking at my cringy face with my big ass forehead, make sure to hit that subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video, short, or live stream here on Turbo Fox Racers. And guys, like I said in the previous video about the Formula 1 pre-season predictions, building the ultimate track toy season 3 is around the corner, and you don't want to miss it. Trust. I love you guys. Remember, your mind is to be stronger than your feelings, and I'll see you guys for whatever piece of content comes next. Cheers!